High in the Andes, shrouded in mist and legend, lies a ghost city, Machu Picchu. For centuries it was a whisper, a myth, a lost city of gold swallowed by the jungle. But in 1911, when the world finally rediscovered it, the truth was even more astonishing. This was no mere ruin. It was the perfectly preserved heart of a civilization that built an empire on the roof of the world. An empire forged not with iron, but with stone, rope, and an unbreakable will. How did a people with no written language, no wheel and no draft animals engineer cities in the clouds and roads that rivaled Rome's? And how could such a mighty empire, the largest in the Americas, fall so catastrophically to just a handful of foreign invaders? This is the story of the Inca, their cosmic vision, their architectural genius, and their tragic world-altering collision with conquest. Imagine a world without writing. How do you manage a sprawling empire of 12 million people, stretching 2,500 miles along the spine of the Andes? The Incas had a revolutionary solution: the quipu. These weren't just decorative knots. They were a complex, three-dimensional language of strings and colors. Each knot's position, type, and the string's color held specific data. They could record census numbers, tax obligations, and military logistics. A white string might represent silver, a yellow one gold. A single knot could mean 10, a double knot 100. The quipu masters, the quipu kamayoks, were the living hard drives of the empire, reading these knotted records to keep the entire state running with terrifying efficiency. It was a system so advanced, we're still deciphering its deepest secrets today. This efficiency was the backbone of the Incas' greatest achievement, their road system. The Capac Ñan, or Royal Road, was an engineering marvel. It wasn't just one road, but a 25,000-mile network crisscrossing deserts, climbing 16,000-foot mountain passes, and spanning cavernous gorges with masterfully woven suspension bridges. These bridges, made of grass fibers, were so strong the Spanish invaders were terrified to cross them, yet they supported entire armies. Along these roads, relay runners called chasquis operated like a human telegraph system. A message could travel 150 miles in a single day, faster than a horse in Europe. This network was the circulatory system of the empire, moving armies, goods, and information at incredible speeds, binding the diverse conquered peoples into a single, cohesive state. But how did they build it all? The Inca were masters of stonemasonry, but their technique was almost alien. Without iron tools, they used harder river stones to pound, grind, and polish massive blocks of granite. Their precision was so uncanny that their walls are polygonal, with each stone fitting its neighbor perfectly, without a drop of mortar. These joints are so tight you can't even slip a knife blade between them. This wasn't just for show. It was an earthquake-proofing technology. When a tremor strikes, the stones dance and jostle, but settle back into their exact places. At the fortress of Sacsayhuaman, stones weighing over 100 tons are fitted together like puzzle pieces. The Spanish, upon seeing it, believed it was the work of demons, not men. The empire's heart was its ruler, the Sapa Inca, believed to be a living god, the son of the sun god, Inti. His word was absolute. When the Sapa Inca died, his mummy wasn't buried. It was preserved and continued to live in its palace, attended by servants and consulted on state matters. His wealth, land, and prestige remained his own in the afterlife. This meant each new Sapa Inca had to conquer new lands and create his own wealth, which drove the empire's relentless expansion. The Incas believed the world was balanced between the heavens, the earth, and the underworld, and it was the Sapa Inca's duty to maintain this cosmic harmony, or Aini, a principle of sacred reciprocity that governed all life. This entire intricate world was balanced on a knife's edge. In the late 1520s, a devastating civil war erupted between two brothers, Huáscar and Atahualpa, both vying for the throne. The war tore the empire apart, leaving it weakened and scarred. It was at this precise moment of vulnerability that the unthinkable happened. In 1532, Francisco Pizarro and his 168 conquistadors arrived. To the Incas, they were a bizarre sight. pale men with metal skin, riding enormous, unknown beasts. Atahualpa, fresh from his victory, agreed to meet them in the city of Cajamarca. He arrived with thousands of unarmed attendants, a display of divine power. He couldn't fathom that these few strange men posed any threat. It was a fatal miscalculation. In a shocking ambush, Pizarro's men, armed with steel swords, arquebuses, and cavalry, slaughtered the Inca nobles and captured Atahualpa. The sound of gunfire, the charge of horses, it was chaos and terror the Incas had never witnessed. In a desperate bid for freedom, Atahualpa offered a ransom that defies belief: to fill a room 22 feet long and 17 feet wide, once with gold and twice with silver. For months, a river of treasure flowed into Cajamarca from every corner of the empire: exquisite gold statues, ceremonial jewelry, and sacred artifacts. Pizarro accepted the ransom, the largest ever recorded in history. And then, he executed Atahualpa anyway. With the son of the sun god dead, the cosmic order shattered. The empire, so dependent on its divine leader, was thrown into paralysis. The Spanish, though vastly outnumbered, exploited the existing political fractures and the road system the Incas themselves had built to march on the capital, Cusco. The age of the Inca, a civilization that had mastered the mountains and touched the heavens, was over. Their gold was melted down, their temples torn apart, and their knowledge lost. Yet they were not erased. Their language, Quechua, is still spoken by millions. Their engineering still stands, defying time in the high Andes. And their story serves as a powerful, tragic reminder of how even the mightiest empires can vanish in the blink of an eye. Thank you so much for journeying back in time with us. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the past. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an expedition. See you next time.